Project Arts of Plymouth is back for its 26th annual free summer concert series. I spoke to Mike Landers about how he and his team of volunteers keep this nonprofit going to keep the music playing on the Plymouth waterfront. I am so pleased to welcome Mike Landers, who's the founder of Project Arts here in Plymouth. Mike, welcome. Thank you for coming today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me.
Let's, for the people that don't know you, talk a little bit about your personal background and how you got to be where you are right now.
Okay, I have been a musician, performing musician on stage since the age of 8.
Wow.
And at 8, I was doing, club work with an older band, and then by 10, I was doing television. 11, I was working with the Checkmates and doing some touring and stuff, and then by 15, working with B.B. King and a lot of other folks, and doing a lot of bigger touring, and basically quit the road on purpose myself at 22, and decided to find out what it was like to have a real life, and continued to play music. But all of the experience that I gained in those years is what taught me to produce concerts and festivals and events and all of that stuff. It was all ingrained in me. So that's kind of was the beginning of this. Do you want me to go right into the history of Project Arts a little bit? Or?
So you have had music in your life all of your life.
I've always
Basically,
had.
That's just
always had music.
It's part of your DNA,
yeah.
right?
That's correct.
So at what age now? Project Arts is now 25.
20. This is our 27 years.
27 years old. So how did that blossom? The whole idea of bringing, and Project Arts is really bringing concerts to the downtown Plymouth area.
Oh, absolutely.
Right on the waterfront, Wednesdays in the summer. So how did that whole thing start?
It was a combination of things. It was, we had a gal named Chris Reverdy, who's a very, very well-known artist from Cape Cod. And she brought myself, Lloyd Rosenberg, a guy named Dave Jackson in. We all had, the three of us all had some background in music, and we were all friends. So she brought us together and said, wouldn't it be nice if we did these concerts? And so we got thinking about it, and I started talking with Mike Gallerani, who was the head of the economic development team at Town Hall. I spent many nights with he and Ed Santos walking me through all of the things that I would have to do to make that happen in the town government. So we got that figured out. Then we looked at we started thinking about when would we do this, and we came up with Wednesdays because I was also on the Chamber's tourism board at the time, and we realized that tourism was the largest untapped resource that the town had at that point, but it was a 1 or 2 day destination. So we said, well, what if we started doing something big on Wednesdays midweek? Wouldn't that help? But it has to be free because we wanted to help out all of the underserved families in the community that couldn't afford to take their kids to the big shows and stuff. So all of that came together. That was a culmination of all of that brought it brought us to the waterfront on Wednesdays.
So now over the years you've had a number of very well-known bands. Can you talk about some of the highlights that stick out in your head?
I was afraid you were going to ask me this. Well, we've had the Average White Band. We have Livingston Taylor numerous times. Oh my God, a lot of people that have come through that have since gone on to be, famous. And I'm bad with names, so I can't think of all of the various folks. But it's on, a lot of it's on our website. A lot of the folks that have been in there.
Yeah, and there's pictures.
And it surprises me sometimes. I'll look at the list and I've totally forgotten that I had somebody.
You had those people. Now, families, individuals, everybody comes down.
Yes.
Do they picnic? It becomes an evening of not only music but. Camaraderie and everything. Talk about the experience that people have when they come to one of these.
Well, they come out, there's several things. First of all, it's in one of the most idyllic parks in the town as far as where the shows happen. And they can come in and you have, on a really hot night, you have that little bit of ocean air off the water, which cools it a little bit. Some people bring their chairs and line up in rows in front of the stage. Some people bring up, the whole family comes out and they sit around a blanket and, like you say, bring up a picnic, or we have food trucks, they pick up food there. The area directly in front of the stage, we literally block off because we call it the kids' mosh pit. That's and over the years, that's where the kids would dance.
Yeah.
The moms and dads would sit in the first couple of rows so they could keep an eye on them.
Yeah.
And it became just a wonderful family experience for them, you know.
That's wonderful.
That's really what it's
Now,
all about.
did you have to take 2020 off because of the pandemic?
We did, and it was really, it was about, Project Arts only lost a year, but it was about a year and a half total that things got bad. We found out last year, I believe it was 20 days before our first show that we were actually going to be able to do it.
Right.
So we had limited marketing last year because we couldn't get the stuff out. But we still had an enormous crowd on our first night, you know, probably the biggest ever, you know.
Roughly, do you have any estimate of how many people actually go and watch these shows?
It ranges, I would say a few thousand on you know, every week as a regular thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, we have people that come in from other states specifically for the shows. I mean, I've had people call me from California because they wanted to be here last year for the elevators for our first show.
Sure.
And things like that. And so people do travel from all over to be there. And plus, you can't beat the price. You know, they're not going to spend $100 a ticket for a large concert.
Absolutely. And if it rains, what do you do?
Well, up until this year, we had the only backup plan was to try to reschedule, which was difficult at best, especially with national acts. But this year, the town has generously worked it out with us, the recreation department and the new town manager, so that we can. We're going to move all, except for the 20th and 27th of July, the whole rest of the season. If we get a rain out, we can move directly into Memorial Hall. So the show will go on at the correct time. We'll still bring our food trucks. They'll be lined up on Memorial Hall Drive, and people can still come in, and it'll be free to them as well.
So do you arrange that for food trucks to be there also the nights of the concert?
Yes.
Okay, so let's talk about that and the cost and how you raise money and how do you afford this, because everything's free. The public doesn't pay a dime for this.
Well, first of all, myself and our entire staff, you know, our board of directors and everybody else, we all volunteer our time. It's an all-volunteer organization. And so from us, there's no cost. I mean, obviously, there are costs for sound, any lighting that we use. There's costs for the bands. They get paid. The DCR charges us a very healthy amount for the use of the park.
Yep.
And then of late, since they became involved with the park, they've insisted on us having security, which is provided through them.
Okay.
And so that ends
at
up
a cost.
That's at a cost of $200 to $400, $600 a night.
Yep.
So all of that being told, we started out in 1995. And a lot of those rules weren't in place.
Right.
And so at that point, we had $13,000 for our first series.
For the whole season?
For the whole season.
Wow.
And that was for 13 shows.
Wow,
Myself and Lloyd Rosenberg mixed the sound, and we are terrible at mixing sound, but we did it. And we started out up near the Mayflower in that little park. And if we had 200 people a night, we thought it was a great night.
Sure.
And but as it's morphed, went from 13,000 annually to close to 100,000 annually. And of course, we're bringing in a lot bigger names and that sort of thing. And so the costs have gone up considerably. So we do a number of things. I do a birthday fundraiser in January, which raises $3,000 to $5,000.
Okay.
We have a lot of sponsorships from corporations and businesses in the area, ranging from a few $100s to $1,000 to $5,000.
So you're able to pull enough money together.
Between that, I write a bunch of grants, and so the Visitor Services Board in Plymouth always treats us well, and they appreciate what we're doing as well, and partner with us. Plymouth Cultural Council. I mean, there are a lot of things like places like that you can get little bits of money.
Sure, and it all adds up.
It all
goes
adds
into the
up.
pot. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah.
And you're a 501c3, so people can make donations, and
That's
it's a
right.
tax-deductible donation.
Yeah, 501c3, and so that has wonderful tax implications for
Sure.
most people, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
And even corporations, they can do. I don't know exactly what they
Yeah.
do with theirs, but it helps them
And
as
it's
well.
goodwill. I mean, it's a win-win. I mean,
Yeah.
something like, you know,
And that's-
an event
and-
like this is an absolute win-win for anybody.
And that's one of our strategies too. Is we like to go after people who are large corporations working in the town that have a bad reputation. We go to them and say, "Don't you need some goodwill?"
Oh, right.
How about
or
showing-
maybe they just don't have a reputation yet.
Or they don't have a
Yeah,
reputation. We say,
yeah.
"Wouldn't you like some great marketing
Sure.
and get some great goodwill
support
going
something
in the
like that,
town?"
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. So it works out quite well.
Okay. Let's talk about this year's lineup, and,
Mm-hmm.
and that is going to start on the 29th of June, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, go ahead.
We have a fabulous lineup. I think it might even be one of the best lineups we've ever had in Project Arts. So we're starting off on the 29th with our traditional Irish night that we do every year.
Yeah.
And this year we have the Joshua Tree, which is the official U2 tribute. And then we always bring in Maureen Haley's School of Irish Dance in the middle. So we get
Nice.
30 or 40 of her kids that are
Nice.
amazing.
Yeah.
And that's always fun. July 6th, we have at the Adam Ezra Group. July 13th is going to be a fun, if you like blues and you want to hear it played well, we've got the Willie J. Laws Band. Willie's like a scorching Texas guitar player. But he's going to be with Roberto Morbioli, who is considered to be one of the best guitarists in Europe. He's from Italy, but he plays American blues, and the two of them are playing together
Oh,
that
wow,
night.
that's a treat.
That'll be incredible. The 20th, we have a great local band, Cheap Vuva. They always draw a great crowd. The 27th, we have Boston Catalano is coming in. She's a local gal and she's now, her new backup band is Trip Tonight, who is fabulous. And then Jake Hill, who's another singer-songwriter
Sure.
from the area.
We're very familiar with
And
Jake.
so
yeah.
Jake will be starting the show off. The August 3rd, we have Draw the Line, which is the official Aerosmith tribute band.
Yeah.
And then the August 10th, a couple more bands, the Faye Dynasty, I'll call it, the
Yes.
third left with the Faye Band.
Yeah.
They'll be in. August 17th is a group called the Brothers Project. This is a new band, but they're Allman Brothers tribute band, and they are like note for note, tone for tone. You're gonna, if you shut your eyes, you're gonna think it's the Allman Brothers.
Wow. Okay.
So these guys are fabulous.
Yeah.
On the 24th, we've got Danny Klein's band Full House, which is Danny Klein was the bass player in Jay Giles for many, many years,
Yeah.
and he's the only one who's left that's actually performing their music.
Okay.
So he's doing a great job. And then August 31st, we have a traditional reggae night with the Duppy Conquerors out of kind of the Boston area.
Yeah.
Some of the people are from Jamaica, and they do the Bob Marley and the Wailers stuff. You know, the stuff we
Sure.
grew up on. That's
So you have a full variety of music.
we try.
throughout
We
the
try.
summer, yeah.
Although I realized once I got this completed, this is the first year in many that I haven't had a country night. But you know, I ran out of
You ran out of
space.
time. You ran out of time. All right.
Yeah.
Well, this has been great, and people can go to your website or to your Facebook page to learn about the concerts. The 29th is coming up sooner than
It
we
is.
think.
It is.
Wonderful to talk to you. Thank you for doing this.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
And we'll have you back again.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Thank you. If you've enjoyed this video by the local scene, please give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching.